Well, hello everybody, it's Miss Padillo. I'm just kidding. I am not going to sit here and do some ridiculously awful British accent tonight. But we are talking about Andy Goldsworthy. He is a British sculptor, photographer, and environmentalist. He's 63 years old, and he makes art in natural settings from nature. And he leaves them there. And I showed you lots of examples on the PowerPoint presentation. I hope that you took time to look at them. I also hope that you take time to do a little bit of research and look up some more of the art of Andy Goldsworthy. So right now he is, if I haven't said it already, he's 63 years old. He lives and works in Scotland. And one thing that Andy and I share, a belief that we share, as well as probably almost every other artist that you'll ever meet, is that we really are connected with nature. Nature is so important to us, and it has a great influence on our art. So I love that this project is going to get you outside and connect you with nature. But I want to make sure that everyone is clear on what the expectations are and what the objectives are. So basically the objective of this lesson was to go outside. I'll read it one more time. Go outside on a nice day or even a rainy one. Try to think like Andy Goldsworthy. Look for little sticks, pine cones, rocks, leaves, etc., and create a radial design. Now, I want to make sure that you understand what a radial design is. A radial design just basically means that all of your objects or parts, they kind of radiate from the middle out. You know, it's like they start in the middle and they radiate out. And that's why it kind of looks like a circle, because they radiate out pretty equally from the middle. And so a radial design is not going to be like a square or rectangle. It's going to look more circular, but it's going to be balanced by your objects equally coming out from the center. And I might have one larger object coming out from the center over here, my camera's backwards, and a smaller object, or two smaller objects coming out from the center over here. They would balance each other out. So it doesn't have to be, you know, exactly the same, but the weight of it all needs to balance all the way around, if that makes sense. If not, let me know. Okay, so at this time, I'm going to show you the demonstration that I started today. Kind of crazy. So here we go. Oh, it's Wednesday afternoon now, and there's no fancy hat today. Yesterday, I videoed myself going around the yard, collecting random objects, all kinds of little random things that I found outside. However, today, as I started to get ready to put all this together, I thought, man, I really would like to just make something big and cool that you can see from a long ways away, and that, you know, I don't know, it just has a presence to it. So I have focused my attention on the trees in the backyard that PSO has cut down in an effort to keep them from hitting the power lines and causing electricity to go out when it ices or they blow too hard or whatever. So here's where we're at. Okay, so these are the trees, and those are the power lines that they were trimmed away from. And when they trimmed them, they just fell all on the ground. I've got this big stack of them, and so I'm going through and I'm pulling branches out of the stack, and the largest ones I'm putting in one pile, the medium-sized ones I'm putting in another pile, and the smaller-sized ones I'm putting in their own pile. And then I'm taking those and I'm seeing which ones really work good together, which ones I can connect to make a radial design with, because I want everyone in each group to be about the same length so that it has a nice radial balance. I don't want some that are way longer than the others. And I also want their visual weight to balance, not just their length. I had a thought. I feel really bad for my husband. You know, it has to be difficult being married to an artist. Most guys, men, come home from work and, you know, their wife has a clean house and supper cooked, and my husband comes home and I've got the backyard trashed and limbs scattered out all over the place looking to make a sculpture. So anyway, I appreciate his patience, and I'm glad that, you know, he can put up with this. Thank you, Luna, so much. Once again, as you can see, let your dogs help you too. Make art long enough, you reach a point in your artwork where, okay, now I'm going to say a bad word here, all right? I apologize in advance if you don't want to hear a bad word. Just go ahead and cover up your ears right now, because I'm fixing to say one. Because I've reached the point in my artwork that you get to sometimes when you realize, oh crap, that looked better 10 minutes ago than it does now. I took it too far. I messed it up. Okay, I didn't mess it up, but I don't like it as much as I did 10 minutes ago. You know, bad mom here. I said a bad word in front of my sweet little girl and my sweet little boy here. They're actually both the same age. They're both 8. Can you say hi? You say hi? Yeah, so Mommy's so sorry she said that bad word. Yeah, so anyway, no, I do recommend that as you work on your art, you take photographs as you go, because especially on something like this project where you're going to be rearranging things, maybe moving things around, you might say, oh, did I like that better before the other way? And if you have the photographs from the other way, you can check and see which way you liked better, which I did. I photographed it as I went along, and then I saw the photograph that I liked the most, and then I tried to move the branches back to look the same way, and I can't get it exactly the same, but it's okay. I like it. I'll show you what I have now. So you're going to want to make sure that you put your whatever you're using to make your radial design, you're going to want to make sure that you put it on a background that has contrast. Earlier I was on the grass, and you couldn't really see the greenery of these branches on the grass, because green on green is hard to see. So I moved onto the wood surface so that I can see how everything looks. There's enough contrast to tell the shapes and forms. I love the shadows that are being cast onto the wood from the sticks. So you guys don't have to go as big as I'm going, but I just wanted to do it this size. Also, if I were going to just leave it laying down flat and photograph it, I could do that, but I don't know why. I just feel like I want to make this thing stand up on its side somehow. So I'm going to have to figure out how to make it structurally sound, tie it all together in the middle so that it can stand up on its own. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to add some things to it. It's not going to just be these branches. I don't know what I'm going to add to it yet. It'll come to me. I'll have a moment of inspiration. Anyway, so Spencer, would you mind standing over there so they can see how big this actually is? Just kind of lay down beside it. So yeah, this kind of just shows you, you know, it's as tall as my kid, and he's pretty tall. So, all right, so that's where we're at right now. I will have to work on this a little bit more later. Okay, and the very last thing I'm going to say before I go off here is that I do realize after making these videos the last 2 days that my yard is in horrible condition. There are tons of weeds, and when my husband saw the video, he was appalled. So I do have to find some time to get the weeds out and clean up my yard, which is really hard for me because ever since we've went to distance learning, all I can think about is making art. Like, I converted my garden room into an art studio, and all I want to do is make art. I made paper. I made handmade paper, and I started planting like tomatoes and bell peppers and aloe vera plants and bougainvilleas, and I mean all these sunflowers and all these things, and I just want to make a garden and make art all day long. And so it's really hard for me to stop and do laundry and do dishes and all the things that I need to do. But yeah, I was pretty embarrassed when I looked at the video and saw how bad my yard was. So there's that disclaimer. And also, I do realize that I get to talking really fast. I get excited sometimes, and sometimes I jumble up my words, and some of the things I say might not make as much sense as they should. So if you're confused about anything, just let me know. So you guys have a great evening. I'm going to finish this radial design with my branches and whatever else I decide to add to it. I'll finish that tomorrow, and I'll post the last video of that. So thank you for taking the time to listen, and everyone have a great evening.